Hey, welcome to Seeing Stars, where we see the up and coming stars from GCW, New Japan, and we will be talking about Wrestling Revolver. Stardom is not really having anything, so we won't be talking about that. But we have a special guest, a special, I would say Twitch exclusive, but this is past a Twitch exclusive. We're going to put this on the regular channel. This is just an exclusive with our boy, the friend of True Hill Heat, and our own J News. Hey, J News.
Hello, folks. Hello, it is nighttime where I'm at, but as I usually like to say, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is good brother Jay News, and I'm back at it again here, but I'm here with the Workhorse Wrestling Network, and I'm here with some good people who invited me on the show. So I am here participating with everybody, and I'm ready to talk some New Japan and add to this conversation.
Yes,
We are
first we're
so
going to
excited
find
to
a
have
little bit out about J News. Our typical question we ask guests:
Hmm.
what made you interested in wrestling, and what type of wrestling do you like?
Man, that is a loaded
you.
question. I'll try to have a short answer. My great aunt used to babysit me when I was a kid, 3, 4 years old. She used to watch. I am Hispanic uh, by ethnicity. She used to watch a lot of lucha libre when I was growing up. So my first introduction into wrestling was lucha libre, and then one night, Saturday night's main event came on Channel 4, and WWE came on, and I got hooked from there. And then wrestling just in general. It wasn't just a WWE thing or a WCW thing. Any wrestling I could get into, I got into. And Japanese wrestling hit me early in the early 90s, or the late 80s, should I say, because WCW used to have those joint shows with NJPW back then, which was the first time I ever saw the Great Muta. And I was like, oh man, what is this? I need to watch more of this. So between Muda and Great Sasuke and Chono in the 90s and stuff like that, I really got into Japanese wrestling and even found out more about Japanese wrestling through tape trading that my
uh,
cousin got me into and whatnot. But
yeah, because
as
back
for
then
print,
there was no internet back then. You had
Yeah.
to do some
man,
serious work to
listen.
try to get them Japanese shows.
So a lot of the when I was in middle school and high school, a lot of the kids who liked anime used to pick up tapes downtown in Chinatown, and in Chinatown you could also find Japanese wrestling tapes you could trade. So I went with them. They went to go get their anime. I did anime. I did the anime thing as well, but I was looking for Japanese wrestling, and I found
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
So I was able
yeah.
to find all Japan stuff and New Japan stuff, and it was cool. It was a whole nother world. So
Yeah.
that's been my experience with it. Now, current day, I really do concentrate just on New Japan and AEW for the most part. I try to catch mostly everything else in clips. I love to support indie shows in person because a lot of the times I go into them blind, and when you go to a show live, it's just a better experience to understand as to what's going on in the scene.
Yeah.
So I try to do that as best as I can when I can throughout my with my busy ass schedule. So
Yeah.
exactly.
I know when I first saw you, I had seen clips of New Japan, and I got a little bit introduced to it around the time China went over there, but I really couldn't see it, couldn't find a way to get to
Couldn't
it.
find a way.
And then
Mhm.
once I got heavy into the channel of at True Hill Heat, and you were on there, I was like, okay, I want to see what you all are seeing. And once y'all kind of directed me on how to get there, it's like I've been hooked ever since then. So that's why you are perfect fit. Because when we started this show, it was like I was like, we have to do New Japan. I love New Japan. I love hardcore wrestling. New Japan, anything that's just like outrageous and out there, I have to see it.
I hear you. No,
Tape
I mean,
trade still exists, but it's
yes,
mostly Toriano now.
basically, basically,
Yeah.
that's right. That's very true.
So it's funny. Like I've been a wrestling fan. I mean, I don't know how old Georgia is, but I'm 46, so almost 47. So I've been watching wrestling for a long, long time. But I really didn't get exposed into Japanese wrestling until about 3 or 4 years ago. Um, I came to Wrestle Talk like 3 or 4 years ago on YouTube, and I saw them, and they kind of talked a little bit about it. And I saw SP3 on the Daily Boys with
Hmm.
Alex McCarthy, And so I went to True, and he was talking about it, and I'd seen you guys talking about it, and I was like, "What is this?" And so then I was like, "I've actually have the internet now, so I can look at." Because back in the day, we didn't, like you said, tape trading, and I wasn't that sophisticated back then. I was just watching WWE or WWF, WCW obviously when it was on, you know what I mean, and whatever else came around. But yeah, so I've only been watching it for a few years, but man, it's amazing once you actually watch it and open your eyes to a whole different world of wrestling, because it really is a whole different style that I just didn't, I hadn't, experienced before. And so coming to it later, I can really appreciate it now. It's like, wow, these guys are, I mean, I missed all the early stuff. So I don't know, I don't know how much that is on NJP World or not to go back and watch, but yeah, I mean,
There's a
I'm hooked now for sure.
there's a good chunk of it on New Japan World,
Is
Alan.
there?
To be honest, because they even have some of the early '80s stuff, like even some
Oh,
of
wow.
like Hogan's good matches are on there. You
Okay.
know what I'm
Yeah, yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can find some of that. Yeah, you can find a lot of the and they usually it's today's Monday, right? They usually
Yep.
do the match. They used to do the match of the week on their YouTube channel. So they used to
Okay.
put old school stuff on their YouTube channel, so you can catch up
Okay.
through there as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Just to catch up with old stuff. I am 39 now, so I've been a wrestling fan for about 35 years. So
Yeah, yeah.
I
Yeah, yeah.
can't get enough of it, and
I,
it is just yeah, man, it's fun. I don't
I
I
have.
tend to go ahead. My bad.
I was just gonna say I have to say I'm a bit jealous because like the era that I grew up in, I was one of like three people in my high school who watched wrestling.
Really?
Like I didn't get to grow up in the Attitude Era. Like when the Attitude Era was happening, I was like 7, so I missed out on all that. I will say that I did bother a lot of kids in my school by wearing my Undertaker Ministry of Darkness T-shirt, though.
Yeah, I mean, I
JD,
can remember in the '80s there was kind of a stigma around being a wrestling fan. Never mind the fact that you sold 90,000 tickets to WrestleMania 1 or 2, but then people looked at you funny when you said you were a wrestling fan. It's like people that say, "Oh, they don't eat McDonald's, but they sell a billion hamburgers a day." You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's like, come on now. You know what I mean? Like you're watching it, you just don't want to admit it. Don't lie. So but
yeah. JD,
I
don't
mean,
let Sammy fool you. He knows everything about every wrestling company ever made. And when we play these games, he's always number one. ALW is always last. At least I'm not last. I can
I'm
take pride
terrible.
in it. But Sammy
I'm
will
terrible.
always beat you.
ALW mentioned McDonald's, and I want to go on a little rant. The
Uh
only people who are excited about McDonald's are 7-year-olds. All right, like it's just a place that's there. Like
oh.
it's the place where it's 2 in the morning, you're leaving the bar, and everything's closed, and so you just get a McChicken because it's $1 and cheap, and you go home.
Yeah,
That's what McDonald's is.
100%. What does Jim
It really
Gaffigan
is.
say? Jim Gaffigan said, you go to McDonald's and you find a friend there, and he's all, "What are you doing there?" And you don't want to admit you're at McDonald's. You're like, I'm just here to meet a prostitute. I'm not actually eating food." You'd rather admit to meeting the prostitute than eating McDonald's. So, yeah, there you
Oh
go.
man.
Right. So,
That's why we're crazy. Just the three of us are crazy here every week. Uh, but we're going to start talking about some of these shows because it was a lot. ALW had us working. First, we're going to start off with
you forgot
DCW
the boss.
Backyard Wrestling. I mean, I had to find some graphics. I had to dig deep for some of this stuff. These are the matches in which happened. The Chad beat Ace Wired and Drake Balor. Dark Angel defeated Mark Angel. This type of crazy stuff that happens on GCW. And I'm about to really say this. Pizza Cat Jr. beat Charlie Cactus, known as Brogan Finley. Okay? Brogan is gonna wrestle again and he gonna use a different name. Every time it seems like he got an alias, he hiding from the cops. Mayday Jackson beat Big Van and Deshaun. And Lucky and Matt Awesome. And Vampiro. They had a 2 out of 3 violent doors death match. Iman defeated the Crow. Alex Smith, Bergie, the monster, who he couldn't keep his name, so it's Cheeseburger. And Claude Marr Jr. and Haystacks beat Steve, which is one called Salamander, one called Manders. Listen, on GCW, they come in like the auto. I call him Salamander. He look like a salamander. But they come in with these. false names every week. Like Joey Janela, I watched him watch Jay Lose me and Sammy. It stuck in my head like glue. We watched him wrestle, and then the next night he had a match for the championship. It's a ship in a bottle, and he was dressed as a pirate, and he called himself Joseph Janela. And I made so many pirate puns, I couldn't stop. It's like, "Our matey, we're gonna make it to the ship." I kept doing it, couldn't help it.
Oh,
And
man.
as you see, Joey did win the hair versus hair match at the end. That was a part of our predictions because we have predictions over at this channel. GCW just don't decide to put any. They didn't have any of these matches until the day of. So all we knew that Joey was fighting for his hair. The next one, hold on. Doo-doo. We had the GCW cleanup man.
That's not the right. Yeah, there you
I
go.
know. I'm so used to clicking the other one. Now that I got a little smart, I'm like, I don't know what to do with myself. Uh, these are the people who won. You had Jimmy Lloyd and Wasted Youth, uh, who won. You had John Wayne Murdoch. Effie was added to that match. We still all lost on that one.
Mhm.
Uh, Charles Manson defeated Joey Janela. Yes, I said that right. Charles Manson Mason. Sorry, Mason. Sorry. You look like Charles Manson, though. Blake Christian defeated Richard Holiday, which we watched live. It was great, and I really love Richard Holiday. I am so grateful. I know a lot of people who've had cancer. For him to beat it and come back is wonderful. Los Macizos defeated Waves and Curls and Yoki. Okay, listen.
Wait a
There's
minute.
a
Time
man
out.
named
Wait a minute.
Dolores. Dolores. Hold on a second. Hold on a second. So,
Waves and Curls. These are
Waves
the
and
main
curls.
stars. Waves and
That ain't
Curls.
no joke.
Waves and Curls. They got a man named Teriyaki that wrestles, and then you have what's the Michael Jackson impersonator they have on
Oh yeah,
GCW?
Santana Jackson.
Yes, and in the middle of the match, he did Thriller and turned into the Wolf.
He did.
wow.
This this
GCW is wild. GCW is
Well,
wild.
you know what? It's only like you can watch GCW, but sometimes they have other matches and other promotions that you be like, I could skip this. I think me and Sammy had one of those moments where we were sitting there and they had a satanic ritual thing in the middle of the ring and
Oh
they were
boy.
fighting for alien championships. And I was like, I am not high enough for this. I don't know what they are.
They got a
Sammy
guy that
started
sometimes comes
drinking
on the.
and we couldn't even figure out what was going on.
They got a guy that
But
sometimes comes
Wasn't
called
it?
the Grim Reaper, who'll just
uh,
smoke a joint while he's wrestling.
oh yeah, we're gonna get to the Grim Reaper.
Wasn't the show like called like For the Culture or something like that? And there's only like
No,
one or two black
no.
people
It
on the
was like
entire card.
no, it was another type of car. I forgot what it was. They
Okay.
literally took a Hulk mask and glued it onto a belt. I don't know what type of stuff they own, but I was like, okay, I need to get up out of here. But we had to watch it for 2 hours and then they took a break. Uh, for the tag team titles, you had the East West Express, which is Jordan Oliver and Nick Wayne. I know Jay News know about Nick Wayne. Versus Gringo Loco and Jack Cartwheel. East West Express won. It was a shocker because, as we all know, he's leaving.
How
And
you
Yeah.
feel
then
about
Hmm.
hold on real quick. J News, how you feel? Give us your opinion on him coming to AEW. Nick Wayne.
Oh man. He's
Wrestling
extremely
Swerve
talented.
to
He's
start.
yeah, man. He's extremely talented. But he's super young, so he's got time. You know, I say it a lot during the True Heel Heat podcast and stuff. When it comes to the younger guys, they got time. Like, there's no reason for us as wrestling fans to like think he's gonna get this big push or whatever the case is and all that stuff. Like, they'll make him look good in his first match, and then he's gonna put a lot of work in at the end of the day. So, you know, he's 18. He just graduated high school, so it's like, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd strap the rocket on him. I'd have him be the one to finally take the belt off of OC.
That's an
Would you
interesting
have him
call.
actually beat Swerve this Wednesday though? Like, what does that do for Swerve if he beats Swerve? Like, I mean that.
but hasn't he
Well,
beat
I guess Swerve's not going to be challenging OC anymore. That's what I would imagine.
Yeah, but it buries Swerve a little bit. I mean, the 18-year-old kid that comes in his first match and beats Swerve, who's like, I mean,
But I think he's beat
Swerve,
Swerve
like,
before when he was like 16, 17. So it
In
makes no
Defy.
difference. At least
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. When they
So,
wrestled in Defy, that he beat him.
okay.
so that at least it'll be he a little bit older and whooped you. And that'll make it feel a little bit better. The last match that we had on our predictions for this card was Nick Gage versus Psycho Clown. Nick Gage won. Yes, pizza cutters appear. They appear.
So it was
That
it was a hardcore match. I'm assuming.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anytime Nick Gage is
I mean,
involved,
it's GCW main event. Like,
And it's Nick Gage. I
the
don't think he does anything but hardcore death matches at this point.
he does.
the interesting part was he used the pizza cutter on the mask and it didn't do anything, and so Psycho Clown ripped his own mask open so
Ripped
Nick
his own
Gage could
mask
get the
open.
pizza cutter spot in.
Oh
Listen,
Yeah.
man.
my favorite thing is that most people, if you watch AEW, does not know Maki Ito and Nick Gage and GCW and how she literally, I said, I'm going to do it one day live on stream with the ponytails and she goes, she goes, Nick fucking Gage, murder, death, kill. And she says it so cute. And it's like, this
Yeah.
ain't hard. I don't know where you been at, girl, but you need to go back.
I assume you're familiar with Makihito, Genius.
I am. I am familiar with Maki fucking Ito.
Yeah.
So-
She's great on GCW. If you haven't seen her on GCW, she's hysterical with Nick
she
Gage.
is. She is amazing. She is entertaining. She is a hell of a wrestler. I was gonna comment because I saw Gringo Loco's name on there, and I
Yeah,
was like,
Yeah,
that man's working. He's all
yeah,
over the place nowadays.
he
So
is.
yeah.
props
He
to
is.
Gringo Loco for getting all the work that he's getting lately.
Yeah,
So
for
He
sure.
works two or
Deserves it
three
for
matches
sure.
a week on GCW and does AEW. So he's busy.
mhm.
We also watched live Texas Toast. Let me clarify because I don't want to offend my other two co-hosts. I wasn't there. I was at home in my bed looking at them. Watch this. That's what I did. Uh, we had Exodus Prime versus Rich Swan. Exodus Prime won. We had Lance Archer versus Matthew Palmer. Lance Archer won. Tommy Becker versus Kari Wright. Tommy Becker won. For the PWR Remix title, we had Alex Shelley, the champion, versus Zachary Rent. Alex Shelley won. We also had ABC, Ace Austin, and Chris Bay versus the Children of the Scorn. J News, if you ever go back and watch that, I don't know what's wrong with them people, but I felt like I need to throw some holy water. Gabe Wilder and Tommy Prince, and ABC won. We had the Texas Street Fight, which was Sammy Callahan versus Allie Catch, and
So
Allie won the match. That's my
so
girl right
so hold on a second here. So we're still Sammy's still doing the intergender matches, obviously.
there.
Yeah.
Um, if this was a street fight, who bled in this in this match?
So
I
far,
think
yeah.
Sammy bled. I don't think Allie bled. Did she? I'm trying to
She
remember.
bled a little bit, but not a
She did
lot.
bleed a little bit. They both bled.
Yeah,
They
because
both
she
bled.
Wasn't
because she's hardcore.
Allie? Wasn't Allie's boyfriend or husband or whatever there? And they were like trying to couple it up. They be doing weird stuff. And then we
Yeah.
had Aaron Eagle versus Keith Lee, and Keith Lee won. And then we had a no ropes pit fight match with JD Griffey versus Mike Bailey, and Mike Bailey won.
This is
I
becoming a
don't
Mike
know.
Bailey special. This is like
Yeah,
his thing now. Everywhere he goes, he does a pit fight somewhere.
yeah. And if you watch
Uh, th-
W, you'll realize that it's almost like these New Japan or Impact people come in and they don't realize how much trouble they get in. Despy El Desperado was pouring buckets of blood, and he looked like somebody had beat him mercilessly, and still wrestled the next day. I was like, I know you didn't come from New Japan all the way here after the tournament to get bled to bleed like this, and then go back and wrestle some more. This ain't what you want.
What were you gonna say?
Mike Bailey was really working that shoulder in that match.
Yes, he was. Yes, he
Okay,
was.
we know that we watch MLW, which you all just saw, but uh CM and ALW will go over that on another show. Now
Yep.
we on to the meat and potatoes because Jay News is
Woo!
here. New Japan Pro Wrestling Independence Day. We had 2 days, two
I got my
lovely days.
shirt on for this.
Ladies and gentlemen, I got smart on you. Y'all wanted the red, white, and blue, and we gave it to you, buddy. We gave it to you. The red is the winners. The blue is the
Oh.
losers. Okay?
Okay.
So out of this list for the first day, which 2 matches do everybody think that they love the most?
Ooh. Who's gonna go first? We'll let the
Okay.
we'll let the guests go first. Mr. J News. What were your 2 favorite matches of day one or night one?
My 2 favorite matches of night one, um, probably the junior tag match, which is my favorite match of the 2 nights. Francisco Akira and TJP versus Clark Connors and Drilla Maloney. That's one. I cannot discount the fact that I had a lot of fun in that no DQ street fight with Jun Kasai and Despy going up against Homicide and John Moxley. Though the last 2 matches there were really fun for me to watch. My 2 favorite matches of the night.
I'm gonna take the easy route and go with the same 2. I think it's easy because those were the 2 best matches of the night. I mean, it's what they were, right? I mean, the one was the main event for a reason. I mean, I love Homicide. He's not what he used to be, but he's still fun to watch. Moxley's always entertaining, and I'm a huge Despy fan, and it's fun to see him here. Speaking of Despy, he's all over the place right now. And he's getting run everywhere, which is great to see. I'm not that familiar with Jun Kasai, but I was very, I enjoyed watching him. And what can be said about the, I like the new Bullet Club War Dogs. I thought they looked really, really good. Um, so yeah, I mean, and TJP and Akira can go, right? I mean, so there's no, and those 4 in the ring, they got really good chemistry. I mean, very strong. So by far the 2 best matches
All
of the night, in my opinion.
right. Well, normally I'd have to go with Mox, but seeing as both of y'all chose him, I'm instead gonna go with Eddie Kingston and Rocky Romero versus Gato and Kenta. And uh, Della Del Mondo
Mm-hmm.
and against Willow and uh,
Momo
Kojo. Is that how you pronounce it, Kojo?
Kogo.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Kogo. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
You just call him Momo.
It's hard to know whether a G is a G sound or a J sound. You know, GIF and GIF.
Yeah, I hear you.
I'm
I hear
surprised
you.
that you said me. As much stardom as you watched and as much time as you said that name, today it just bloop bloop, just gone. Just gone for you. But
Mm-hmm.
like I
It's
said
happened.
before, I am the hardcore girl, so I had to go with the main event. I have, anytime there's blood involved, somebody's getting hurt, I'm there. I am right there for you. I was halfway asleep and mad at the Tom Lawler match because I don't like Tom Lawler. We don't like each other. Okay, he don't like
Listen,
me. Obviously, why? But he don't like me, and I don't like him. So we don't like each other.
Dolores, me and you are on the same boat. I have no love for Tom Lawler or his team of filthy
No,
animals. All right? So I got your
no.
back if you need. You know what I'm saying?
I
See,
love
Tom
Tom.
Lawler is the kind of person you can't fight in the dark alley. You got to bring something with you. You got to bring
My
something
favorite
with
thing
you.
about Tom is when he has the short shorts on and he takes off them and they have shorter shorts on.
And that I
He
see.
makes me laugh.
As a straight female, when he does that, I go, "What are you doing? Stop that! Don't nobody want to see all that. Put your clothes back."
Uh,
That's not what you want a lady to say. Put your clothes back on. That ain't what you want her to hear. On the second night, we had these matches. Which 2 from the second night do you like, and which one? I was at the front of the pack. Which one would be back of the pack?
So for me on night 2, it was Julia and Willow Nightingale. I take the ladies there, and then to round it out, um, Moxley and Despy, just because they told a very very good story in the ring with all the violence included. So that's my pick for night 2.
I'm going a little bit different. I'm going Kingston and Kenta, just because Eddie finally got a win in the belt. I know this isn't I know I've been beaten over the head with the fact that this isn't the Kenta that I didn't know before, because the first time I ever saw Kenta, he was already Hideo Itami in NXT. So I'm not super familiar with that Kenta. So I know that he's not what he supposedly is, but I super enjoyed it. I thought the storytelling in it was brilliant. I mean, um, and so that's that one for me. And Eddie getting over. I'm a huge Uncle Eddie fan, so always with Eddie. And let's see, this is a tough one. I think the yeah, I'm gonna go with Willow. I'm gonna go with the women too. I mean, I'm a huge Willow fan. I'm a little sad that she took the loss here. I guess I kind of understand it. I mean, she was never technically probably supposed to win it. It was only because Mercedes got injured. So I get it. It bothers me a little bit that she feels just kind of transitional. Okay, so Mercedes, will audible in that match. We'll put the belt on her, but then as soon as we find somebody that we really think we want to give it to, we'll put it on her. So, and not that Julia doesn't deserve it by any stretch of the imagination. She does. I mean, she's a superstar in New Japan, and hopefully we'll get to know her over here, or in Japan. Hopefully we get to know her more over here and see her more. She's amazing. But yeah, I mean, the match was
Listen,
great.
I love Mercedes, but if Mercedes was in the match, I'd still be rooting for Julia to win.
Sure.
Oh yeah, he has an obsession with Julia. He loves Julia. He
Yep.
probably would give a right kidney for Julia. Listen, I love Julia too, but ALW knows where I'm about to go, and everybody get mad when I get there. I do
I
not
will
like
say,
Ned Flanders uphill wrestling. I just don't. Ned Flanders is Willow Nightingale. She's super happy 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. She getting her butt kicked and she's just super happy. I need her to be mad and be mad good. I need her to turn heel. Because every time she does, it gives me Ned Flanders vibes. Like he could be caught on fire and he still be like, yeah,
Get
G
it, get
golly
me.
whiz. That gets to me.
I will say,
So I got,
Mercedes and Julia are the two women in my top 10 favorite wrestlers.
yeah, Sammy likes a little soul.
All right, Sammy, what were your two matches from night two?
Uh, I mean, I have to go with Julia and Willow, and I guess I'll say, oh man, it's tough. It's tough, but I honestly go with Mox and Despy.
Okay. I do Mox and Despy and Eddie Kingston, Kenta. I'm so glad because I've been screaming that it was time for Kenta to go to sleep. He's been sleepwalking this whole time. He's had this belt. It was time for him to go to bed, and I'm glad. I'm glad now he can find somebody. They said find somebody else to mess with. Okay.
I'm
Uh,
curious to see what he does now. I'm kind of curious to see. He feels directionless, and I'm not sure what
He does, but we'll see what
future.
happens.
Yeah.
so now we're gonna talk about the G1 climax. Okay, we're gonna go over July. Because
Okay.
August is when we get to the semi and finals. And we don't want to get that far deep. By then, we'll be drowning. We just want to stay above water. Okay? So now, on the 15th, we have the A and B block where we have Yoshihashi versus El Phantasmo, Chase Owen versus Gabe Kidd, Tangaloa versus Kenta. As I always shout you out, J News, when I have to say this name, the top shot.
Rah! That's right. That's right.
Umino versus Ren Narita. Because Okada versus Great Okan. Uh, Yoda Suji versus Kato Kayamiya. See, I've been practicing. Tyson versus Will Ospreay. And Sonata versus Hikaleo. Which match are you most looking forward to on this card for this day?
Oh man, because we were having this conversation earlier on True Heel Heat when we were doing the Independence Day review, in terms of the new three Musketeers, right?
Yeah.
And
Mm.
I'm looking forward to Shota versus Red Narita to see the contrast in styles, and two, um, they've got to bring it now because they have all this pressure on their freaking shoulders. And if they don't show out, there's just no reason to have the label on them. So that's one match I'm looking forward to on the 15th. Um, and anything with Big Suge is a main event, no matter where it's at. That man is a star. So Yota Tsuji, Kaito Kiyomiya, and Kiyomiya's got a story built into this block. Obviously,
Yeah.
if folks don't know, him and Kazuchika Okada will eventually meet in this block. There will be hell to pay, but I think I don't know. I think Kiyomiya wins this. He wins this over Suji, and they'll yeah. But I think that's going to be a tremendous match as well.
Which one are you looking forward to? ALW.
Oh, geez, there's so many good matches there.
It gets harder and harder as the days go on. I just want to let you know. Because I
It
was
does.
up
I
at
mean,
top, I don't even know.
I'm a big Sonata fan, so Sonata versus Hikuleo just kind of has some interest for me, even though I don't think Hikuleo is like the most talented wrestler. I think he still needs some work. Um,
Mhm.
but that match kind of interests me. Anything Will Ospreay's in, I'm always interested in, and I like the Great Okan, even though I can't stand Okada. So I'll be rooting very loudly for the Great Okan over Okada. So I'm interested in watching that. So those are probably the ones I'm most interested in. I mean, um, Shooter versus Ren is going to be amazing. I think Ren's probably definitely one of the futures of New Japan for sure. I love watching Ren wrestle, so that's gonna be fun as well as Shooter. So that should be a really good match.
Sammy, do you have one or two you would like to see?
I'm gonna go with Tonga Loa versus Kenta, but also 2/3 of the new Musketeers. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
third
Yeah.
gen now. This is the third gen of the Musketeers, and I'm here for it.
Yeah. So we're on to the next day, the 16th. We're doing the C and D block. Tomohiro Ishii versus David Finlay. Hiroki Goto versus Toriano. Mikey Nichols versus Aaron Hanare. Shane Hayes versus Alex Coughlin. Sorry. Shingo Tagagi versus Eddie Kingston. Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Zack Sabre Jr. Tamatonga versus Evil. And Tetsuya Naito versus Jeff Cobb. Which one are you looking for, J New?
I am going to take the corner of Los Ingobernables de Japón. So I got Shingo Takagi versus Eddie Kingston. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
And Tetsuya Naito versus Jeff Cobb. Because I love me some Jeff Cobb. But at the end of
Yeah.
the day, we'll see where that goes. But those are the two matches that stick out to me the most for this night, necessarily. Everything else, I'm not too sure where they're going to take David Finlay in the tournament. Just because he's been off TV for a while. I know he's the leader of the War Dogs and all that stuff. I'm just not too sure how strong they're gonna make him look in the tournament. So I wasn't too keen on this match for him. Um, Yano's gonna do his typical Yano stuff. Um, I've never been a fan of Mikey Nichols as a singles wrestler, so that didn't interest me. Shane Haste is always interesting, but him and Coughlin are so diametrically opposed in styles. It's like I wonder what that'll look like. And I can't. I've gone through this on other podcasts, and I'll go through it for folks on here. It's hard for me to watch Tana in the ring nowadays. It just is, and it's hard for me to pick a match with him in it, just because it's difficult to get through nowadays. And it's hard to see some of your long term favorites go through the aging process, but in a bad way. You know what I'm saying? And that's where we're at with Tana now. So
It's
not
like when him and Ishii were tagging together. It's like you would watch them come out and be like, I wish you would just go back and stay back in the back. You all look broken. And a part of me, and me and ALW have had this conversation on live. Like, when is there a point where somebody's got to say, you're doing too much. You need to stay in the back. So you
Yeah,
clipped
or
out the
I
rope
here's the
and
thing: like
continue to wrestle.
if you want to wrestle, and I get like you made your name off of doing XYZ, but like if you want to continue to wrestle and your body's not allowing you to do the high fly flow, in a reasonable way, or get up the ropes without looking like you're gonna die trying to get up the ropes, then do an audible, do something different, switch your move setup so you're not doing that move all the time. Like These guys are talented enough that if he really wants to keep wrestling, he can do that. He just have to switch up his move set and stop doing all of those high fly moves that he's just not able to do at this point. You're right. I mean, overall, it is hard watching him. And to be fair, I haven't been watching him for too long, but I just in the short period of time, the last couple of years that I've watched him, you can see his
Oh
aging
no,
process.
yeah.
But
It's been stark in the last 3 years. Like
yeah, yeah,
just
yeah.
just in the last 3 years between the pandemic and now, there's been a
But it
complete
seems
and utter
like the
drop off.
biggest issue with him is his high, his high flying offense, really, right? So like if you just tamper that down a little bit and just stay more on the mat and more grappling, maybe you can, I don't know, maybe we get a little second wind to Tanahashi. But I hear what you're saying though.
Uh, I real quick, I wanted to ask of the new Musketeers, who's everybody's favorite?
I hate them all. They're like the nerds that you let into the. You can't do that. You can't do that.
Ren Narita for me.
Oh
Uh,
man.
I'll go Yuya.
Mm. I haven't
The
seen
hair,
enough
the
of him
hair.
yet, Stanley. I haven't seen enough of him yet, man. Like
He
without
he
like
wrestles a lot on Impact.
right. I don't that I've always admittedly said I don't watch enough Impact at all to know what the hell's going on over there. I know they have great talent. I just don't watch it. But if I'm picking, Dolores knows who I'm picking. I'm going with the top shots one time
Bah, bah, bah,
because
bah, bah.
that's so. For me, it's Shooter, man. It's got to be because with the way they just presented him from the outset, it was just okay. He's the guy.
Yeah,
He's the guy. They did the same thing with Suji. Don't get me wrong. And Suji, I think Suji put on a better show than Umino did in his first comeback match.
yeah,
But it's like now with the way that they're structuring the tours, they're taking so much time off in between matches. It's like the momentum gets a little bit lost, so then they have to regain it again. So
yeah,
for me without a question, it's Shota Umino. Suji a close second.
yeah. On the next block
Hold on, hold on,
day
hold on,
is
hold on, hold on,
18,
hold
so
on.
I get a break.
Wait,
I get
wait.
1 day break. So I get to watch Kato Kiyomiya versus Chase Owens, Great O'Khan versus Kenta, Hikuleo versus Gay Kid, Tai Chi versus Tongaloa, Ren Narita versus Yoda Tsuji, Yoshihashi versus Will Ospreay, Sonata versus the Top Shota Anumino, and Okada versus I think it's El
Hikaleu El
Phantasmo.
It should be El
Listen,
Phantasmo.
Mhm.
listen,
I was
after
gonna
I
say
had got the page, this is what
she merged
page
them together. They're now
15,
one
I
person.
got tired. I was like, Jesus help me. Jesus
El
help. But
Hikaleu
I think,
Phantasmo.
yeah, I think it's Hikaleo because we did the first
Mhm.
one. Double check.
No, he
But
layers against Gabe Kidd.
Yeah, so it's Phantasmo versus
yeah,
Okada.
Yeah,
definitely.
which
So which
I
ones
mean,
are you all looking forward to?
Okada versus Phantasmo is going to be great, right?
Hmm. But I'm
Again,
also
I know.
interested in Sonata versus Shota.
I was going to
Same.
say, yeah, that one's going to be really good too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
same.
looking forward to I would say Ren Narita and Yoda
yeah,
Shuji.
yeah.
Mhm.
Ren.
And I
I
think
don't think.
Yoshihashi and Will Ospreay could have potential to be good, but it depends on if Yoshihashi want to show up that day.
Yeah,
He had day.
they didn't have
So
bad matches, so
me and ALW, we didn't pick what matches we were looking forward to for the last block.
yeah,
Oh,
it's all right.
LW did. You didn't?
Dolores doesn't care. She's all right. She doesn't care about
No,
what
no,
we
I
do.
thought you did. You said
no,
something.
no.
I said, how did you say something?
I'll
Okay.
go Naito Cobb and
You stole my match.
Shingo Kingston.
You
Those
stole
two.
both my matches. I'm going to say the same thing.
Oh,
You can skip right on. I was going to say the
See,
same thing.
We're all
uh,
caught up.
So,
you, I'm
you
gonna
can roll
treat you
film.
like a black mama and going in the store. Don't touch nothing. And when you get something, you better get it and come on out. That's what you better do. Okay. So we was here. That dude got his stuff. He was ready to go. Y'all was still hanging around. I will get in my car and pull on off. Okay.
Uh,
So did y'all make y'all choices for the 18th?
yeah, I think we're good with that one for the most part.
Okay. Sammy.
mm, I Sonata Umino and Okada Phantasmo.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And Ren and Suji should be really fun too.
Uh, Toriano versus Zack Sabre Jr. That's the star of the 19th Block C and D. Okay. Then we
That
have
one's gonna
Mikey
be
Nicholson.
fun. I'm sorry, I gotta say something real quick. That one's gonna be fun because Yano's gonna drive Saber nuts, dude. Because I know
Yeah,
Saber's all super intense and like Yano just wants to have fun and drive people crazy. So that one's gonna
he
be
want to
fun.
have some butt stuff. He wanna, sorry, he want to have some butt stuff. And I was so angry that he got serious and did so badly. I was like, you haven't won hardly anything. And then the one time you do some butt stuff is the one time you won a match through the whole tournament. I was so mad. I was so mad. It's like I stayed up every morning for you to lose. I thought you was gonna have a Sonata kind of thing. Instead, you was like a loser. Just
So
straight.
so I'll go
Oh,
ahead and say mine for this. For me,
uh,
it's Yano and Zack Saber Jr.
okay. So we have Mikey Nichols versus David Finley, Jeff Cobb versus Alex Coughlin, Eddie Kingston versus Evil, Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Shane Hayes, Shingo Takagi versus Aaron Hanare, Hiroki Goto versus Tetsuya Naito, Tomohiro Ishii versus Tama Tonga. So, Jay News, which one are you choosing for your
Um, for me, I'm going with Cobb versus Coughlin. I
Yeah,
think that's going to be a banger of a match because they're going to
I
go
agree.
try to go strength for strength and outdo each other with some craziness.
Yeah.
And I'll take a strong style match any day of the week. Give me Tomohiro Ishii versus Tama Tonga.
see? Jay News took my choices. See?
Me too.
ALW?
We're on the same page. But I'll also say Goto versus Naito. The first thing
Mhm.
I ever saw was Goto. That was the first New Japan match I ever saw, and I fell in love with Goto. He brought me to New Japan, really. I'm always a Goto fan, and I love Naito. Naito. I mean, I came in right. I think I came in right when he came back from his excursion. So whatever that was, that's right when I came into New Japan. So I got him right when he came back, and so I'm a huge Naito fan. So yeah, and obviously Eddie Kingston. I'm so sad and disappointed with what they've done with Evil. I want to know what Jay News's take is. I know you don't like the House of Torture, but what do you think long term is for that? You think they're gonna stick around for? I mean, they gotta break these guys up, right? I mean, they're a joke now. Everybody hates them, like
I
right?
think
I mean,
that's really more or less what the use of the faction is at this
yeah,
point. Just
yeah,
because they need their comedy, and then they also need a faction that's gonna look up at the lights the majority of the time. A faction that they're gonna be able to beat up on.
yeah,
Just because Suzuki Gun was sort of kind of that they were they were the 50-50 book faction. And then for a while, I think Hantai was really the ones that were looking up at the lights for a long period of time. So they needed to make that change and stuff like that. So I think that's really what they have them there for. For me, I don't pay too much attention to what they do
yeah,
nowadays. That they did Evil a disservice when they
yeah.
put that belt on him. That's all on Gato, which is why you always see a lot of Gato hate come
Yeah.
Julie. But that is what that is.
Yeah.
All right. Full honesty, even though I'm representing right now, I have to say with Jay White gone and God gone, like it's hard to stand by rooting for Bullet Club right now. Like
I like the War Dogs. I like Finley and the War Dogs.
I
I
like
mean,
what
I
they're
I
like
doing
the
know.
with the young guy there.
I like the four War Dogs better than Finley, but I like them together, all five of them. I like them.
my favorite's
Yeah.
Kenta, and like most people don't feel Kenta.
Yeah.
Yeah. So on the 21st, we get a day off. We coming back. AB block is Yoshihashi versus Tangaloa, Ren Narita versus Gay Kid, El Phantasma versus Great Khan, Hikuleo versus Chase Owens, Will Ospreay versus Kenta. The top shota is going against
Mhm.
Kaito Kiyomiya. Okada versus Taichi and Sonata versus Yoda Suji. This is what was hard for me to just pick you.
Yeah, that's. I think the night of the 21st. This might be the night of all nights for the entire tournament. If I'm being quite honest, there's probably like two matches in this entire out of 8 matches. There's 2 matches I can say okay. I don't really mind not watching these matches, but every other match, like freaking Ren Narita versus Gabe Kidd, give me all the LA Dojo boys in the ring. I give me that every time.
Yeah.
Phantasmo and Okan, contrast of styles. Phantasmo being a good guy, seeing where he's going. Okan's always great. I was not a fan of Okan to begin,
Yeah.
but like he's really turned me around. I can care less about Hikuleo and Chase Owens, to be honest. Will Ospreay, I think, can get a dope match out of Kenta. I really think he can get a good match out of Kenta. Shota Umino versus Kaito Kiyomiya, it's 1-for-1 right there. Those two guys are made for an instant classic. Okada and Taichi have always had great chemistry, so I don't think they're gonna have a bad match. And Sanada and Suji again, give it to me, give it to me. That's what, man. Listen, I'm
Yeah.
for this
Yeah.
night.
Sammy, do you have a pick?
Oh, I'm gonna go Osprey Kenta.
Yeah.
Those are two of
Okay.
my favorite wrestlers. Like,
Yeah, can't go wrong with that. I mean,
ALW?
I hope. I mean, I say this all the time. Will Ospreay doesn't have bad matches, so we'll see what Kenta comes with. But I'll put it on Ospreay to get a good match out of him. So that should be a good match for sure. I'm a huge El Phantasmo fan, and I really like Great O'Con, so that should be great. Narita versus Gabe Kidd. Gabe Kidd looks really good right now, and Narita always looks good. So, and Sonata versus Suji is going to be amazing. So,
I secretly am looking forward to Umino versus Kaito Kayamiya because I feel like they are the newer kids on the block who are willing to fight for their respect. So they willing to knock each other out to get there. And
Yeah,
so I think
and they're
that'll
fighting for
work.
respect from the same guy.
Yeah. Who really at this point doesn't care about either one of them. That's
Exactly.
be like, get off my lawn. On the 23rd, I get another day off. Zack Sabre Jr. versus Alex Kaufman. Tama Tonga versus Mikey Nichols. Hiroki Goto versus Shane Hayes. Aaron Hanare versus Eddie Kingston. Toriano versus Tetsu Unito. Tomohiro Ishii versus Shingo Takagi. Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Jeff Cobb. And David Finley versus Evil. I can tell you last.
I'd like to go ahead and say that personally, it's probably Toriano and Naito. But I have to say that Ishii versus Takagi is probably going to be one of the best matches of the entire G1.
Yeah,
yeah.
more than likely, they've been doing it for the last couple of years, anyways. In the middle of the tour, so this is basically the middle of the tour. So Ishii and Shingo was the match that stood out for me. Sleeper pick, if I had to have a sleeper pick match in this block specifically, just because of his most recent work, Aaron Hanare versus Eddie
Yeah.
Kingston might be a real sleeper pick in this particular night.
Yeah, the two that jumped out at me were Ishii and Takagi. I'm a huge Shingo fan, and Ishii is amazing too. And Zack Sabre Jr. and Alex Coughlin. Alex Coughlin with the work I've done, he's they're pushing him a lot, and I'm a huge Zack Sabre Jr. fan, so that should be fun. Good contrast of styles, and that should be fun. So those are the two really stood out to me. And Yano and Naito's going to be fun. Yano's always fun, and Naito's always fun too. So.
Yeah. The next night, which we get 2 days, is the AB block on the 25th. It's Will Ospreay versus Great Khan, Shota Umino versus Gabe Kidd, Taichi versus Kenta, Yoda Suji versus Chase Owens, Tangaloa versus El Phantasma, Ren Narita versus Hikuleo, Okada versus Yoshihashi, and Sonata versus Kaito Kiyomiya. I can tell you what I'm looking forward to.
Go ahead, Lord.
Uh, ALW, go first. I'll let you go first.
Osprey and Okan should be fun. Uh, Shooter and Gabe Kidd will be a lot of fun. I don't know. Like we'll see what we get from Kenta, but Tai Chi's always, fun to watch. Ren and Hikuleo. I don't, I don't care a lot about Hikuleo, but it's a good contrast in styles. So we'll see. Maybe Ren can get something out of Hikuleo. Yeah, I think that's
Is it me?
sure.
There you go. J News, what are your two picks?
I haven't gushingly spoken about him in a couple of days, but I will do this here. As we all know, I've been with this man in the gym since day one. Sanada Des versus Kaito Kiyomiya will be a dope match to watch on this
Mhm.
particular night. I'm also going Shota Umino versus Gabe Kidd. Those two in Rev Pro put on some matches that people just don't understand how hard they hit each other for the sake of making noise reverberate in those small UK venues.
Yeah.
So I expect a lot from them, especially with this particular platform in front of them. And yeah,
You start a new game?
like AOW said, Tai Chi's always entertaining. I don't know what he's gonna get out of Kenta, so we'll see. We'll see.
Joe?
Sammy, what is your two picks? You unmute, Sammy. Hold on. Let's unmute you.
Did you freeze the doors? Oh, there you go. All right, there you go.
Okay, there we go. I am gonna go Tongaloa and El Phantasmo, and of course Sonata and Kaito Kiyomiya. And Dolores, you're muted.
Not Dolores, you're muted.
See, I'm fighting this mute button. We fighting every time I get on. I had to fight for my
Uh,
life. Okay.
there's
Uh,
always some sort of
Chelsea
technical
Umina.
difficulty.
Listen, me and this mute button, we fight every time we get on here. Shota Umina match and Sonata match because I know Sonata is not quite at Okada's old man yard, but he's close to it. He's tipping his toes in it. So I just
He's
can't
dipping his
wait for that.
toes. That's right. That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. He's not Okada. Everybody wants the new champ to be Okada. Not everybody can be Okada. Let's be real here. Okay? He's trying to create his own lane. So, let's help him
But
create
I
his own
must
lane.
admit, as a lady, that transformation was a miracle. That was a miracle. What I saw before was not what I see now. I was like, the miracles do come true. I don't know who you call, but you need to get them
Listen,
to
I,
everybody in New
I,
Japan.
I'm a red-blooded straight male, and I can tell you with all confidence, Sonata's a good-looking man. And
Yeah,
when he went blonde a couple of years ago, I was saying, whose decision was this? I was like, come
they
on,
messed him
man,
up.
whose decision
At
was
the
this?
beginning, at the beginning of the tournament, he looked like a homeless man on the street, and then he left looking like a businessman. I just want to know how that happened.
All right. He's a change
Like
now.
the blonde hair, he looks like a Yakuza goon. With the
Yeah,
dark hair, he looks like a mob boss.
that's right.
It's funny. Every time someone wins a belt, they get a suit right away. It's like the belt comes with a suit. All of a sudden, the next time you see them, they got a suit on with their belt.
Hey, that don't help some people because we saw Warlow with a suit, and that still didn't help him. On the 26th,
That,
we
that,
have Aaron Hanare, Aaron Hanare versus Evil, Hiroki Goto versus Alex Coughlin. He should be a con man, the way he suck up New Japan. Shingo Takagi versus Mikey Nichols, Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Toriano, Tomohiro Ishii versus Eddie Kingston, Tetsuya Naito versus Shane Hayes, Tama Tonga versus David Finley, and Zack Sabre Jr. versus Jeff Cobb.
Yep.
those last four matches from 5 to 8,
Hmm.
all of them, give me that for that.
Honestly, last 5 matches for me.
Eh, I, eh,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I can understand. I can understand.
I'm here for number two too. I'll say it to the end. I'm a Goto fan, so in Coughlin, I like what he's doing right now, so I'm here for that. But yeah, no, the one that really interests me is Kingston and Ishii. Obviously, those are the two, and Saber Jr. and Cobb. Obviously, is going to be.
This might honestly be my favorite night.
Yeah. So, has everybody made their picks?
Yep.
Because I'm gonna go mine. I'm gonna say Okada versus Osprey, and
Oh, you switched them, right?
Yeah.
You were just
oh,
on
sorry.
another.
Yeah, she switched him.
Yeah,
You
there
know
you go.
what? The Wi-Fi the devil tried to stop me, but I won't let
I
him
was like,
win.
wait, that's a
Okay.
new one.
I would say
You
Zack
gotta keep them off,
Sabre
Dolores. You gotta keep
Jr.
them off.
versus Jeff Cobb, and I want to see Tomohiro Ishii versus Eddie Kingston because I just like
Hmm.
the fact that they gonna just keep just ramming.
That's gonna be a
It's like
chop
two bulls
fest.
fighting each other.
So
That's gonna be
they
a chop
had
fest.
an unbelievable match. Was it earlier in the year, or am I
I
thinking
think
last year?
so. It might have
Uh,
been last year, wasn't it, for like a pay per
Yeah,
view?
it was one of those New Japan in the U.S. events. I won.
Yeah. You know,
Honestly, this is probably the Finley match I'm looking forward to the most.
Yeah, because there's a blood feud there. So yeah, that makes all the sense. Yeah.
yeah.
I just don't like David Finley, and he suckered people. To me, he's like a carny, and he suckered other people into his scam. And he's not a leader. He barely can talk right. So that's what irritates me about him. But we're gonna get on to the next night because I don't want ASW to beat me up. Shota Umino versus Chase Owens, Yoshihashi versus Tachi, Kato Kayamiya versus Gabe Kidd, Tangaloa versus Great Okan, Hikuleo versus Yoda Tsuji, El Phantasmo versus Kenta, Sonata versus Ren Narita, and Okada versus Will Ospreay. I'm just gonna start out by saying I'm looking for the last two matches.
Yeah, 6, 7,
Uh,
8 for me. Yeah,
uh, last three from me.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
last
Same
three,
here.
last three are really a good mixture. But I'm also looking for three. Kaito Kiyomiya versus Gabe Kidd. I'm a big fan of Gabriel Kidd. I have
Yeah,
been since his days. He was 16 years old when I started watching him wrestle. And he's 24. You know what I'm saying? So, it's been quite the journey for Gabe, and I'm looking to see as to what he could do here.
Now, everybody's made their choices. We're about to leave the store and go home for the last day of July. We have Aaron Hanare versus David Finley, Toriyama versus Jeff Cobb, Mikey Nichols versus Eddie Kingston. Excuse me. Tor Tetsu United. See, that's tell you when I got in, I was tired. Versus Alex Coughlin. Ishii versus Evil, Zack Sabre Jr. versus Shane Hayes, Tamatonga versus Shingo Takagi, and Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Hiroki Goto. I can tell you, I am looking forward mainly, I would say, secretly Aaron Hanare versus David Finley because I want him to beat him. I want him to beat his good. And then I'm also looking forward towards, I'm not excited like I used to be about Tanahashi matches. I would say Mikey Nichols, but he's kind of went stale on me. So I would say Ishii versus Evil, and I don't even like Evil, so they tell you I had to be desperate.
yeah. I mean, I'm an evil. I like evil, even though his House of Torture stuff is rough. I like evil, so evil Ishii should be fun. Naito Coughlin will be great. And Tomatonga versus Shingo should be hard hitting and very fun. That should be a lot of fun.
Y-
And
Yeah,
I like
Tamatanga and
Goto, but
Shingo Takagi would be the one I'd say.
Tanahashi. Yeah. What about you, J News?
Um, Naito versus Coglin, I think is
Hmm.
an interesting pairing. I wonder what type of goofy wrestling we'll get out of Zack Sabre Jr. and Shane Haste. I just feel like it's going to be a comedy match.
Yeah.
And like Sammy said, Tamatonga versus Shingo Takagi. That match, man. That should
Yeah.
I feel like that should main event tonight, but we'll
Yeah.
see. We'll see how it goes down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that was the end of July. You know, we're going to come back each week and do little by little until we get to August. We have predictions. So they've already did the first four shows. After four shows, they can come back. And when they get the rest of July, see if they want to change their mind about something.
But
So,
but since we won't have J News probably again for more G1, I want to know who you think is going to win the G1 this year.
Oh, I said it last month. I'll say it again. I'm riding this Naito train to Wrestle Kingdom, brother.
Right? So,
I want him to be able to finish his story and get his Wrestle Kingdom moment. Um, if he doesn't win, I'm not gonna riot. But at the end of the day, I think Tetsuya Naito wins the G1, goes to Wrestle Kingdom, faces whoever the champion is at that point in time, and hopefully it's Sonata so they can tell that story,
yeah,
and then from there he'll have his moment. I think so.
I'm here for that. I'm all here for that.
Well, we are so glad, J News, that you came to visit us. We're gonna do some little house cleaning. I call it house cleaning. House cleaning, and then we're gonna let you tell about where people can find you.
Mhm.
House cleaning. We went over some of the predictions just now. I want to say all hell broke loose because ALW won. Okay,
That's right, right
all
here.
hell has
The
broke
champ
loose
is
because
here.
ALW has won. He's won the Singing Stars Prediction Championship right now. Okay, I'm
As
saying.
Kushida says, it's
I'm
my
saying.
time.
I'm sad. I'm sad. He got 100, and me and Sammy got 85. And Sammy turned his picks in late. I feel disrespected. I really do. Okay, but you know what? I ain't even gonna say nothing about that. I'm gonna leave that to another day. I'm gonna fight again. Okay, but we're gonna let J News tell you exactly where you can find him, which he's mysterious, so you ain't gonna barely find him. I had to go
So,
on a rock, hide my
right.
hand, go back, find the FBI to find him.
Because Dolores found me. I think it was like maybe like 2 months ago. And
Yeah.
when I saw that she was following me, I said to myself, "Oh shit, it's Dolores." I was like, okay, cool. Because a lot of the time when we do the outros on True Hill, he'll always put my Instagram handle on there. That's my Instagram handle, but no one ever chooses to ever follow or tag me on shit or whatever. So I don't necessarily exist in the space, even though I'm always here. But for all intents and purposes, you can follow me on Instagram underscore JONJAY. I'm still teetering. I said this earlier today. I don't know about if I'm joining this threads thing or not. I'm still
Come on, Denise. Come on. Come on over here to Threads. See, I unintentionally am the social media manager of Workhouse Wrestling Network. So I got us on Threads. So
Oh, you did.
I'm on Threads
I didn't
now.
even know that.
Yeah, see, they don't listen to me. I be trying to tell them. I got them everywhere you want to be. I'm like Amen. Everywhere you want to be, I'm here. We here
I
to
don't
work.
even know what a thread is. Isn't that what you sew your clothes with? Threading
No,
the needle? Like,
no, it's a new social media site where it's kind of like Twitter, but not all the bad stuff. It's
okay.
just through Instagram. So
Huh.
I brought us over there. I like it. I've been over there a couple of times in the past week, kind of dipping and doing, trying to get the wing of it. It's a lot easier. It's just like Instagram, but with Twitter, you can repost, you can redo things. It's very easy.
okay. Okay. Yeah, no, because I left the Twitter space like
Toxic.
5 years ago, 5 6 years ago. I left Twitter because it was just, and I didn't even follow anybody that was that bad on Twitter per se. It's just like it's the overall heft that the feel
Yeah.
that Twitter puts on people, right? And it's just shitty. By all intents and purposes, and then it became political after Elon Musk done bought the thing. I was like, you know what? I'm out of this, man. I'm out of
I
this.
had random people hitting me in my DMs and I was like, you know what? If y'all don't get out of here, it's difficult when you are just a random person,
Mhm.
but when you're a female and a random person, they feel like I can just do anything in DMs. They're like, no, you can't. But I'm about to say where can we find you, J News?
You can always find me on the True Heel Heat Wrestling podcast on a weekly basis. As long as there's New Japan stuff to talk about, you can always find me on there. Um, I'll put this out there into the space so that folks understand. When I do have free time, I can come back on. If you would be glad to have me back, I'll be glad to come back here at the Workhorse Wrestling Network. So J News is up for it anytime you guys are for it as well. And I'll make my decision on threads by the end of the week. So
See, I'm gonna look for you all now. I'm like, there was J News. Yeah. And you
We would,
always are welcome to come back any
yeah,
show, anytime. We talk
we'd
about
be honored to have you back
everything.
anytime, anytime, anytime,
Yes,
anytime.
as you about to
Open
see when I do
invitation.
this outro, ALW be having us working.
Every 4 weeks, Mr. J News on Tuesday nights we play Name That Superstar, where it's all just it's like a trivia night. I don't know if you've watched Quizlemania. It's kind of like
yes,
Quizlemania, so it's
okay.
kind of like that. We're not as sophisticated, but it's kind of like that. So next the 18th we've got Caden
Clapping.
from Around the Point,
Uh,
who I'm sure you're familiar with because he's been on the True Heel Heat network a lot.
I just
And
want to point out I've been defending my title every week. Okay,
yeah, He has. He
I,
has.
I
He has. He has. So anytime you want to come play, by all means, we'd love to have you for that too as well. And this show, obviously, anytime you want to come on, we'd love to have you for sure. Anything we do, you're always welcome. Open
Appreciate it, guys. Appreciate it.
yeah,
Yes.
it's an
And
honor to
before
have you for sure.
yes, before we leave, we gotta do a little, as I say, cleaning up. Because we done messed up the area. We gotta clean it up. We're gonna go over our schedule. Today, today, 12 o'clock, you are here with us with our special guest, Jay News, okay? We talked about New Japan. We talked about some indie stuff. He got to see how crazy GCW really is. But make sure you're here on our special time, 12 o'clock, okay? Then tonight at
No,
10:30, you will be here for Professor
are you?
Chris. He will be here with us doing a little interview, playing a couple of games. You know how it is at the cookout. Come, pull up a seat, have a good time. Then on tomorrow, it will be all for night at 8 p.m. where we talk Raw and NXT. We do the work that you don't want to do. Okay? Friday is Friday Night Fights where we watch SmackDown and then Rampage. On Saturday is Under the Radar in the morning at 11 a.m. And Saturday night is All Right where we watch AEW Collision. But ladies and gentlemen, because we are some hardworking people, this Saturday we're gonna be watching everything. Triple Mania, Impact Slammiversary, Collision, Battle of the Belts, you name it, we got it, okay? So make sure you here for that, okay? And again,
Omega versus Vikingo.
yes. And
Oh,
again,
that is
thank you for coming, J News. We
That'll be
really,
Triple
really
Mania
appreciate it.
Saturday. That's gonna be a
no
banger.
problem, guys. No problem. I have a question though before I leave. Before I
Yeah,
leave, Dolores ALW, where are you guys located in the states?
Georgia,
I'm in Vancouver, Washington. I'm
You're
on
in
the west.
Washington. Dolores,
Georgia, Atlanta,
Georgia.
Georgia.
Sammy,
Missouri,
Missouri. All right.
show me
So
state.
so I want to ask this because I saw this on the breakdown for the week. Cookout or barbecue? Which one is it?
See,
Which one is it?
I know you see the paleness, but they got some soul. Okay, so they come to the cookout. Sammy definitely can come to the cookout. ALW, he hanging around. He knows some people. He can come on in
Li-
because we
Listen,
got
listen, listen.
other than
If
this,
it
we
if it's
got
a
indie people.
barbecue, like you gotta have like smoked pulled pork. Like you gotta go to the nines. Now a cookout can be like hot dogs and hamburgers and some potato salad. It ain't gotta be to the nines. It's just gotta be tasty.
Sammy,
Gotcha.
we talking about soulful cookouts. Soulful cookouts. We got some good food. We got food. We ain't got just hot dogs and hamburgers. We got
If
some
there ain't no
real
macaroni and
food.
cheese, I ain't coming. Sorry.
Yep. You know it's
Oh,
gotta be.
the mac is baked. It always is.
Oh, gotta be baked. Gotta be baked.
Hey, we ain't gonna take it all the way down, but we gonna make sure it's good first. We gonna make sure it's good first. Now Sammy is the cook. If you ever come on the stream and we watch it along, Sammy done cooked about 3 times, okay? He done cooked. He done had okra and everything else. He eat chips with hot sauce. That boy got a little soul. Me and ALW, we be struggling because the bigger people, we can't get up there and be eating online. You know what they got to say? So we don't do that. But we were glad to have you here. We will put out your social, but because I didn't know, I was like, well, maybe I know this and don't nobody else know this, so let
No,
me.
man.
Is a hidden secret.
Yeah,
It's
I was
not a secret
like,
at all.
because I normally do that for our guests. I put their socials up, but I was like, I don't know if we want this out there. Like, maybe just
No, no, no. Yeah, no, folks can follow me wherever, specifically on Instagram and stuff like that. I don't post much. At the end of the day, I have a busy work schedule because I work multiple jobs and stuff. So at the end of the day, when I can come on, I do come on, and I give my 100% when whatever I'm doing, whatever I got to do when I'm streaming. So,
Well, again, thank you so much. And we about to leave out of here. So, J News, we're gonna tell everybody peace.
see you later, guys.
Peace.
Have a good
Peace
one.
down.